so much smarter. Let me talk over you nonsense. That we see a lot of people doing out there for just clicks. But yeah, so I did know about the aluminum because like I said we do use it in our manufacturing for a lot of our lower receivers for pistols and all that. I did not know that the other components were not produced domestically. See, that's something I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many small things that go into everyday life. And Hector, I wish I could say that you were correct, but you're not correct in the chat. Sorry. Um, there's just so many little things that people don't consider, and that person unfortunately does include Donald Trump. We know he's not thinking about aluminum. Nobody really thinks about aluminum, which is why it's one thing to bring up because of
It's in,
the broad uses for it.
it's in, it's in plumbing fixtures. It's
Mm-hmm.
every heck, every semi truck hauling our goods across the country. Those trailers are made out of aluminum. Like,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Oh, I do appreciate you talking to me
Yeah.
and giving me something I can, like, actually somewhere to start. Because, like I said, I'm all about trying to research this stuff, but it can be kind of overwhelming. You don't even really know where to start. But I do appreciate you talking to me. I wish you great luck with your stream, and thanks for hearing me out.
All right, man. Well, I hope you have a good one. And I like, I promise you, when I'm saying like I'm glad your business is doing well, I don't necessarily mean that sarcastically.
I didn't think you did.
Okay.
I try to match other people's tone. If I think you're being sarcastic or rude, I will give it back. I didn't think you were for 1 second. I understand what you were saying. And yes,
Appreciate
I
that.
can admit my vote was reactionary to holy cow, what's going to protect me and mine right now. And I fully admit that.
That was a lot of people.
I know. And I fully admit that. And I will say, yes, I do still support the administration, but I am definitely starting to feel the pinch and be left behind because there's a lot of things, especially recently, that are happening that I just don't agree with. I do agree with strong immigration policies. I do not support the way it's being executed right now. This is not, you know,
Yeah.
okay to me. So
Agreed.
while I do support the administration, that support is wavering depending on the topic. But
Valid.
appreciate it. I'm going to look more into this raw goods, especially as it comes to the tariffs, because I do have to obviously purchase a lot of aluminum. I have to purchase a lot of steel and high carbon steel fixtures and all that because of the industry I'm trying to get going for myself when I retire. So thank you. I appreciate it, and good
Of
luck to you.
course. You too. You have a
Yep,
good
have a
one.
good one.
All right. Bye. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. How old are you?
I'm 34.
Did you vote for Trump?
34.
Thank you, Hector.
No, I did not actually. I was hoping to come on while you were talking with this last gentleman. I actually had some questions for him. For one, it's very refreshing to hear somebody who is open to the opinions of other people and other parties and other political viewpoints. Absolutely love that. And I do appreciate that his small business did benefit for this. I think small
Mm-hmm.
business owners should be able to thrive, obviously, and his is like a target audience for conservatives. But my question for him was going to be that even though his business is doing well, does he even pay his employees living wages or health care?
Eh, that's a good point. I'm not really sure because he also said he was active duty military, so there's a lot that can go into him even being able to have a small business while being active duty. So it's a lot that goes into it. So that one I don't
Right,
know, but
no.
yeah, that is a good point to always bring up. Well, I do appreciate you and thank you.
Yeah, of course. And I'm enjoying the stream. I absolutely love listening to everybody else's viewpoints. I
There we go.
also like seeing you educate other people who might be ignorant to things about the Constitution or politically or even socially. So I'm going
Yeah.
to continue to enjoy your stream.
Awesome.
And yeah, that was just that. I wanted to ask him those questions before he left, and I just did not get the chance.
It's okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Also, let's get W Hectors in the chat really quickly. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes,
How old are you?
42.
Okay. Did you vote for Trump?
Absolutely.
And you still support him?
Absolutely.
Okay. What's your main reason why?
Actually, I'll hit on the thing that y'all talked about, tariffs. Let's go ahead and hit on how great the tariffs have been.
Cool. What about them specifically are great?
Well, since the entire world, most countries in this world have been screwing us over on tariffs, and we've been having to pay higher costs for everything that we're shipping out to all these countries or that we're buying from them and whatnot. He is overdoing their tariffs with ours. He's raising up what their cost, and it's forcing everyone to come to the negotiation table. It's a negotiation tactic. He is also bringing in more businesses to our country because he's like, hey, look, if you want to go to China and ship your stuff here instead of making it here in America, you're going to be charged a lot more. But I'll give you an incentive and all these discounts and stuff if you actually keep your country here and make your products here and let our workers make the products for you.
Gotcha.
So how's that bad for our country?
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question first. Who at upfront pays for the tariffs? Who pays the tariffs upfront?
The very first cost goes to the business. And
What
then
business?
it actually trickles down to the consumers.
Which business?
The one that is making and shipping out the products.
Incorrect. Yeah, that would be the manufacturer. The manufacturer doesn't pay the upfront cost of the tariffs. It would be the importer. So the business that is importing it into the country.
Yeah, so like if a business is in China, right, and they are shipping the goods here, they're making it in China, they're shipping the goods here to America, that business gets hurt by the tariffs.
Incorrect.
Okay, then you say you're part of it.
Yeah, so if we have a 35% tariff, so the United States has a 35% tariff on China, right? So all
Yes.
goods coming out of China. The person that is paying that 35% is the United States company that is importing it from China, not the manufacturer in China. It is the United States business that is bringing that product from China into the United States.
Okay. So I'm not a tariff expert. I will admit that, just like you're not a 2A expert. And I can do a lot more on 2A than you could ever think of. And how stupid
Cool, I'll
some of
direct
the
you to
infringements
Brett
have been.
Cross. Go to Brett Cross on
So-
TikTok, man. I don't argue 2A. So do you want
No,
to show
I know
your
that.
knowledge on
I
2A?
said-
Go to Brett Cross on TikTok.
Okay, hang on. That's not where I was going with this. I specifically said I am not a tariff expert, just like you are not a 2A expert. I have more expertise in certain fields just like you have certain expertise. But I can tell you this, all right? I can watch and see what I see, okay? I understand what I'm seeing. And when I see Chinese companies begging their country to settle this whole tariff thing with Trump because they are going out of business, all right, I understand that that's putting pressure on the Chinese government to get better business with us and lower their tariffs. And it is working across the board. We are estimated in 10 years to cut our deficit by a minimum of $5 trillion just based on the tariffs. Now, how is that bad?
Okay, first claim. Chinese companies aren't begging their government to do anything.
Oh my goodness, I've literally seen it.
You seen it.
I've seen it. You can't argue something that I literally saw.
Were you
It
in
was
China?
on, I don't know what movie, what show, what thing I watched it on. Of course I'm not in China, dude. I'm
Oh.
American.
Then you wouldn't have seen
But
it.
Oh, so there's not news.
No,
That's stupid.
they're not begging their government to do something about the tariffs. You know what their government is actually doing because the United States is placing tariffs? The Chinese government is asking other countries like Australia, Japan, South Korea, places that wouldn't be their typical trading
wrong.
partners. I'm not wrong. They are reaching trade agreements with countries such as Australia, Japan, and South Korea. Literally, Japan, South Korea, and China have been enemies for a long ass time. And they announced back in April, when tariffs were first announced by the United States, that they were reaching a free trade agreement so that they could start buying more and stop relying on the United States of America. Even Australia has reached out to China to start importing things. These are all things that I saw with my own eyes and read on the news. News stations such as Reuters, BBC, Al Jazeera,
You're awesome.
CTV.
I've actually seen it to where
Seen
Chinese
it,
companies,
yeah.
and you're telling me I'm wrong, so I'm just going to say you're wrong. Because that's exactly what you just did with my argument.
Actually, what
about the
I
Chinese
did was
companies.
while you were talking, I looked it up on the Google machine, and there is no article that shows that they're trying to I literally put in there Chinese companies begging government to negotiate tariffs with the United States. There are no results for anything in regards to that. In fact, guess what? You know how Donald Trump just reached an agreement with NVIDIA for us to receive a portion of their profits afterwards? China is urging urging companies within China to not do any business with NVIDIA. To not do any business with NVIDIA. China is actively trying to make sure that Donald Trump gets zero profits out of things that he's making agreements with. They're actively asking their people, and China has a stake. China has a stake within the majority of companies that operate within them. They literally have a stake within the majority of companies that operate within them. They're not doing anything. They're literally asking them to not buy NVIDIA.
Conversation is two sides. So you said it like 10 times the same thing. So conversation is two sides. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is I literally saw a video from Chinese companies that are starting to close down because of what we've done to them with the tariffs. Because we raised it not 35%, but we had over 100% tariffs on them.
No, it's only 30% right now.
Now.
It's been 30%.
It's
been 30% since May.
Oh my goodness, it had been higher when he first started it
all.
And May. I get you. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Can I please finish my statement without you whispering in there about it's been 30% since May? I heard you 10 times already. Stop, please. You're a very rude person.
Guess that would be if I had said it 10 times.
I know. It's been more like 3 or 4, but still. Okay? I'm exaggerating a little bit. Do you know exaggerations? Like all the... Well,
I mean, I think this entire conversation from you is an exaggeration, but... It's cool.
Okay, let me finish what I was saying, okay? So if you don't know what you're talking about, please just tell me you don't, because when he started the tariffs war, okay, with China, okay, they went up on us. We went up on them. It ended up to over 100% each way. Do you not know this?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yeah, we went up to 145 and they went up to 125, the max that's actually allowed by the World Trade Organization. China was actually looking at suing Donald Trump and the administration. I was actually in the middle of talking. Do you remember how I just let you get your entire sentence off? Great, let's try this again. So China was actively reaching out to the World Trade Organization to see about the options to sue the United States of America for going over the max that is allowed, because this is a World Trade Organization, by the way, that we're a part of, the WTO. And that's actually when Donald Trump pulled back on the 145% tariffs and dropped it down to a 30%.
Okay, but he had gone over it, right? He had gone over 100%, right?
I already went over that.
Correct? Okay, So thank you so much for finally admitting that I was right when you were sitting there whispering into the thing, saying it was 30%. It was 30% since May. Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, that you finally admit that I was right. Now, when that had all happened, okay, Chinese businesses were suffering majorly. Okay, the Chinese government actually came to the negotiating table. Do you know about that?
Oh, really? Is that why they came out and said that they're not negotiating with Trump, and then that's why he extended the tariff pause
And
again
that's
by another
why-
90 days? Because once again, China has said no.
No,
There
they
has
didn't
been no
agree
negotiation
on-
since
they haven't.
there has
have
been no
negotiations.
negotiation since April.
So they haven't talked about it, not once.
Nope, not since
Not
April.
once. Oh my goodness. Okay, so like I said at the beginning, maybe not April this year, but when all that was going on, were they coming to the table? That's when I was. That's what I was talking about.
Wait, so what year are we going back to?
When he first started all this tariffs. did
Wait,
they
so
go- did
what
they
year
come
are
to
we going back
negotiating
to?
table? When he first started it, when he got into office.
Oh, okay, because you said maybe not April this year, so I thought we were going back to another year.
No. When he started the tariff wars, when it had 100%, they were coming to the table. Okay.
Oh, only
They
in
were
April.
negotiating.
And
They-
it lasted
Oh,
2
my
weeks.
goodness.
It was done within April. They brought it down to 30%. It's been 30% since the end of April. I just said May because that
they
was
haven't agreed on
easier.
anything further.
No, they
so
haven't.
They lowered it, correct?
Oh, yeah, both sides.
I said because they have not agreed on anything further. Can you not understand what people are saying? Are you just that combative?
Oh, no, I just
I
don't
can't
think
even
you
get a
understand what
consensus?
you're saying it. At this point,
my
you don't understand what you're saying.
Okay.
And it wasn't
Look.
an actual negotiation. Again, China threatened and actually went to the WTO to evaluate the fact that, again, Donald Trump went over the max allowed of tariffs
What are
that
Chinese
were
tariffs right now?
they're at 15% on us.
Okay. Look up what they were at the beginning of this year.
22%.
Okay. Have they gone down?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Do you not think that that was a negotiation
Nope.
at all? So they just
No.
lowered the tariffs that they've had on us
So
22% for how many years?
A
Look up how
deal?
many years have it been 22%?
it's only been 22% since I want to say 2019.
Since 2019. It's
Yeah,
2025,
before that it was
right?
19. Before that it was like 14. It's been very up and down, but never above 25%. So here's why I know
Okay.
it's not a deal, sir, is because nothing has been signed.
Okay. Have you ever heard of like
No
I'll lower mine
acknowledgement.
if you
Got
lower
it.
yours type of thing?
Got it. So no acknowledgement that a deal should be signed. Okay, cool.
Not that it's been signed, no.
Yeah.
Because he's not happy with it. Trump is not happy with it yet. He wants it lower.
No, he wants
Okay?
our
He's
tariffs
trying to
higher.
get
That's
more
why he
free
keeps threatening
trade
them.
going. He's trying to get more free trade. Is that bad for us and other countries?
I don't even think you know what free trade is.
He's trying to get less tariffs. Let's just say it like that, okay? On everyone.
Sure.
All these countries have been screwing us over. Is that good or bad that we've been getting screwed over by all these countries?
How have
when
they
we
been
try to do
screwing us
trade with
over?
them? Because of the tariffs.
So the whole time that China had a 22% tariff on us, our tariff was about 18% just on targeted items. Same
On
thing with
targeted
China.
items,
Same
that's it.
thing with China. China also had targeted tariffs on the United States. They weren't blanket. It was on specific items. So yeah,
But no,
and just
they've
just
had
to be
blanket
clear,
tariffs on us
just to
too.
be
They have
clear,
had
just to be
blanket on us
clear,
too.
just to be clear. We don't have what would be considered a trade deficit with other countries. It's companies that have, quote, trade deficits, because the companies are the ones that are actually the purchasing products and producing products and then putting it out on the market. So yeah, companies are able to have a trade deficit. Otherwise, I should be able to complain about the fact that I buy from Publix, but they don't buy any of the items that I put out on the market. So I'm obviously always operating in a trade deficit with Publix or with Walmart or with Target
Did you not
or
realize
with the
that we've
gas
been
station. The
losing-
gas station literally never buys anything from me.
Okay.
Trade
All
deficits
your
are not
examples, I get it.
inherently bad. You just don't understand them.
Oh, so it's not bad that we're losing millions of dollars a day
Oh,
on trade.
we're $1 million a day. Where does this figure come from?
Is actually on the news that you obviously don't watch. You just
Yeah,
watch
I read my
CNN
news.
crap. CNN, MSNBC,
Nope,
correct?
don't watch them. Nor do I even read them. I don't touch them.
The
I literally
New York
gave
Post.
you. Don't read them either. I literally gave. I like how people do this. Okay, I actually already gave you an example of 4 news sources during this conversation, and you don't even remember a single one. Not a single one did I say. So now I want you to cite your source like you would if you were writing a paper back in school. I'm sure you remember how to do that. So what you're going to need to do is give me the title of the article and then who produced it or who put it out there on the public for everyone to look
I
at.
will be honest, the ones where the Chinese companies were complaining to their own country, I will be honest, I do not remember that source. That was a while back, and I did not write it down or anything, so my bad. I watch news and get information from many different sources, but,
Of course.
all right, the main sources I watch, you will not like.
Again, I don't even
But they
watch
are
my
very
news. I read
intelligent.
mine. So what I actually do in
How
order
about,
to... Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I conceded I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Cool. I look for center news sources, and I use about 3 different websites in order to determine the bias level of each news source before I look at it. And then I also pay attention to their factuality scoring. So, for example, you have Ground News, where it will give you center, left, or right bias, will tell you their level of factuality as well.
I
And
know
it even
Ground.news.
tells you,
I know Ground News. I like that
you
one.
if they're a national news agency or if it's an international company. So I like them. You can also do a media bias check, which literally just type in the name of wherever you want to look up and just do media bias check, and it pulls up media bias charts. And then you also have All Sides Media, which also has its own media bias check. All of these companies are ran by independent sources, and they are not paid for by any company. They get
So
direct
I told
donations
you,
from
I
people.
know Ground News.
Yeah.
I know Ground News, and I like it as long as you're not just, as you said, you do center too, as long as you're not just looking at right or left wing. All right. It'll show you all 3. I get it. It shows you what the left
Thanks,
is
Nathan.
focusing on, what the right is focusing on. I get it. I actually like Ground News. I'm actually glad you said that. A little confused how you can read Ground News and read all parts of it, all, you know, the left, right, and center, and still come out with all of your Trump derangement and everything. Like, you think he's done nothing good for our country, not stopping the influx
I'm
of
not
illegal
interrupting him because
immigrants
he
to our
doesn't know I'm
country? That's not
talking
good,
right
is it?
now.
No, that's horrible.
Let me be clear.
Just let
The
people
moment
come in
that
willy-nilly,
MAGA says
and we don't know who the
TDS,
hell you are.
you've lost all
We've not done a
credibility.
background check
You
on
have
you.
lost
We don't know if
all
you're a
credibility.
terrorist, which many
And now
terrorists have
he's
already come
pivoting
through.
to immigration.
We don't
What
know
is this
anything about you.
conversation right now?
We've got all these cartel members smuggling in
Wow.
kids and all kinds of stuff.
Dude,
we have
it's
no
just
clue what's going on.
rambling
We have all these drugs
now.
coming in. That's fine, isn't it? As long as we don't have Trump in the White House, all right?
I love how people enjoy trying to put words in my mouth that never came up or was said during a conversation that wasn't even about immigration. It's very interesting that you pivoted. I'm still waiting for you to cite me any source that you've used and when it came to your information
As I
about
said,
tariffs.
I do
Hey,
not remember my
Cheeky,
sources.
Cheeky, send your army.
As I said, I do not remember all the sources I've looked at with it. Some of them have come from somebody you're going to hate, I guarantee it, Charlie Kirk. He's the main one on tariffs I've listened to.
Yeah. And what school did he go to
And he's
learn anything
independent.
about what school did Charlie Kirk go to learn anything about tariffs?
Oh, so you have to have gone to a college to know anything.
No, I'm just asking specifically what school did he go
All
to
right.
learn anything about economy or tariffs?
As you know, because you're asking that question, he has never been to college.
Okay. So here's what I love, right? So I just want to be clear. Charlie Kirk and then so therefore Turning Point USA are center, right? You said they're center?
Mostly right wing.
Oh, you just said that Charlie Kirk was center.
No, I said he's independent.
He's
but
not
he's
independent.
a right-wing person.
He's not independent.
He's an independent news source. He's not with CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, nothing like that. He's an independent dude.
No, he's with Turning Point
he is a
USA. Every
right-winger.
time he speaks, he's speaking on representing Turning Point USA. He is not independent. He does not operate independently from anything. He operates with Turning Point USA. That is literally what he does. So
No,
you
he started out
specifically go off of a right-wing news tank, and that's who you're going to
that
cite on
one,
your
yes.
source.
There's another right-winger I listen to, too, and he's been to college. He actually, from what I understand, has a master's degree. But you're not going to
In
like
what?
him either. Brandon Tatum.
Don't even know who the fuck that is.
Oh,
Hi, Eva.
yes.
Send your army, guys.
He is a black conservative.
Okay.
That's what he calls himself, a black conservative.
What is his master's degree in?
I don't remember. I'm
Oh,
not going to remember over these
so he
people's
could
degrees.
have a master's degree in art, and then you're going to just tout the fact that he has a master's degree, and so therefore he must
No,
know
no,
everything
you
about
said,
economy.
Does Charlie Kirk have
Any
college?
kind of
Have you-
degree that would give him any knowledge about the economy. I specifically
No,
said the economy
your
and tariffs.
specific question was at what college did he go to? That was your question.
That would
What
give him
college
any that would
did he
give
go
him
to?
that would give him any knowledge or credible standing. I literally said knowledge or credible standing with the economy and tariffs.
But you know what? You don't have to have gone to college. All right? College, I've been to it. Now, not for finance or anything like that. Nothing that would help in this call at all. Matter of fact, I don't even know what your stance is on it, but it was biblical. Okay? I went to college for the Bible. Now, I'm close to a bachelor's degree. Some crap happened. I haven't
According to
finished it
him,
yet.
Nico, yes.
However, I can tell you right now that it is pretty crappy the way the college works, that you have to get all these classes, just like Charlie Kirk says. You have to do all these classes that have nothing to do with your degree, and that's bull. I even have to have a science when science actually goes against the Bible. So I don't agree with that. I wouldn't mind like a creation science class, but anyways, I don't agree that you have to have a college degree in each subject you're talking about. What college did you go to for everything you talk about? What degrees do you have?
Do you see how I didn't ask for any name of college because I'm not going to go through that. So I actually have I have 2 bachelor's degree. Thank you so much, Eva, for the puppy kisses. I have a bachelor's degree in business administration, and I also have one in accounting.
Okay.
Yeah,
And are
buddy.
you using those degrees?
I certainly am.
Oh, you are?
I certainly am.
And how are you using those degrees?
Let's see. I actually have my own business. I also work in accounting. Wow. What a concept. Does it make you feel all
Did you
tingly
know
and warm
50%
inside?
of Americans do not use their degree?
Okay.
They get all this debt, and then they're not able to use that degree.
Okay.
Hang on one second.
You're
I'm
awesome.
okay. All right, let's get through some of these chats. Sorry, that was a useless conversation at the end there. He just... he lost all credibility when he said TDS. He lost all credibility when he started going on Charlie Kirk. Like, Charlie Kirk is independent, guys. He's independent. He said he's center. I just learned today that Charlie Kirk is not only independent, but he's also center. Bro, I don't know how cheeky. Okay. All right. Thank you for the czar. 140. I'll look at what that is. Trump is just a figurehead. Biden has proven the president doesn't even need to be conscious. There is a whole unelected bureaucratic institution behind the president that runs things. I don't disagree with you, sir. So when I'm specifically asking people why they still actively support Trump, oh, thank you, Smoking, for sending out a membership. Oh, that reminds me. Hold on real quick, TikTok, before I continue. Really quick reminder over on YouTube, guys, I'm looking for a total of 5 new members today. I've gotten 2, so I just need 3 new members. If you guys are able to gift a membership, that is awesome. Or if you are able to become a member yourself, that's even better. I appreciate it so much. It just helps me keep doing this for only the 2 hours that I do this about 6 days a week. Okay. All right. So let me get back to this chat. I just wanted to speak to that real quick. All right, guys, I am not going to be somebody that denies that there is a team of people working behind the president. That's absolutely true. There is a team of people working with and behind the president of the United States. There is no denying the fact that with it, at least since the last year of presidency, Joe Biden was declining. There is no denying that fact. We know that. Okay? Joe Biden's health was declining. He was showing the sign of his age. Thank you, Mike, for becoming a member. And we are aware of that. There is no denying that. I do think it's silly to say that he wasn't conscious, though. That part's a little bit weird. But I do appreciate the czar. I do want to look at that. Czar. Oh, that's South African rands. Okay, that's cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I think I've seen that one before. That's cool. Thanks, man. Thank you, John, for sending a gift membership. Let's see. When this call is over, can you please take a moment to share your thoughts on U.S.-Canada relations, digital service tax, online streaming acts, trade negotiation, how they don't need our trade? So, Devin, I see that you're also paying from Canadian dollars. So I just want to be clear. Canada is one of our largest trading partners. Thank you, Smoking, for sending out a gift membership too. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much. I think that puts us at 2. I might be wrong. I'll go scroll through and check.
You're awesome.
But so listen, the online streaming acts thing, like if they want to put a tax on it, they should, because we currently tax our streaming services here. Like, somebody literally called me about 2 weeks ago and was mad that they were taxing his Netflix subscription in Colorado, which was deemed to be legal to do. It was a very interesting conversation. The United States and Canadian relations have been completely ruined with Donald Trump as the president of the United States. If anyone denies that, they're just not paying attention. Thank you again for another gifted membership. Okay, we're at it. I appreciate you guys so much over on the 2B side of things. So Mark Carney himself said that the relations between the United States and Canada will never be the same. He made a comment to talk about how, specifically about the cans that I was talking about, like the soup cans, the process that they have to go back and forth in order to be made and then be produced and then sold within Canada, is it had to come to the United States. And now Mark Carney, and actually I don't think that was Carney, that was I don't remember what the equivalent of the governor of a state's governor, but over Ontario, was speaking. and I can't remember his name offhand, but they're actually looking at opening up a plant in order to produce their soup cans, their Coke cans, all of their pop cans, all of their soda pops, okay? Doug Ford, thank you guys. Okay. So, like, he was speaking about now they're actively pushing and incentivizing the companies in Canada in order to start producing these from the ground up, because that's what we need to do. I know I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent for a second, but if we want to drive manufacturing in America, then the best thing that the government can do is not place tariffs, but to actually offer business incentives to companies to build a plant. That way we can get it rolling, get the ball moving, right? Subsidies. That's exactly it. Give them incentives, whether it's an additional tax write-off. I know we all say tax the rich, fine. But if we want to manufacture, hey Moose, things in the United States of America, then we need to offer them subsidies. We don't tax them to hell and back in order to see that they actually start building things in the United States or bring back their manufacturing. Because let's be very clear, in 2017 or 2015, when Donald Trump sat down with a news anchor, I believe her name is Kelly Tur, and at the time she was with NBC, and she asked him very pointedly, are Trump ties and Trump manufacturing going to come back from China? And do you know what his answer was then? No, because regardless of tariffs being placed on another country that I am doing business with, that I'm importing goods from, it is still cheaper to manufacture it there than to build a whole new plant in the United States of America and then work it from the ground up. So Donald Trump himself pointed out in 2015 that tariffs are not effective. Katie Tur, thank you all. They are not effective to actually drive on manufacturing in the United States. Donald Trump said it himself in 2015, but here he is preaching it. Thank you for sending another gifted membership. And if you guys missed that, then go look it up. Katie Tur, 2015, Donald Trump interview. He's not doing anything to push it forward. Imagine this what you do to get attention. Oh no, sweetie pie. I do have news for you. I know that this is somehow contrary to popular belief, but I am happily in a relationship and I get plenty of attention when I'm not on stream. Plenty of attention. I do this because this is what you could be considered a hobby. I find this fun and engaging to do. I like to learn things. Okay? So this isn't me to get attention. This is for me to learn things. And since I am giving out an educational standard, and I even admit to people when I'm wrong, okay? Because I'm giving out an education when I'm asking people to help out. Thank you, Dawn, for the DJ glasses. When I'm asking people to help out, I'm asking people to send a gift, become a member, become a subscriber. It's because in all honesty, people should be paid for their time. Okay, I don't make a ton of money off of this. Okay, I make enough that just does it so I can get by, upgrade my equipment, and then I give back to charity. I give back to the communities. So, afternoon, and hi from Ohio. Ohio is in Central Time Zone, right? So yeah, it would be just afternoon. It's 12:45 in Ohio. Thank you for sending out the membership and the membership and the membership. You guys did awesome. I appreciate that so much. Hardstyle, what is my point? I think I already addressed this when I addressed your first chat. Is an EST? My bad. It's, okay, guys. Obviously, I don't know every state and what time zone they're in. Ohio is in Eastern time, so it is 1:45 in Ohio. So, John, thank you again for the gifted membership. Auditor, thank you again for, I think you sent out 3 gifted memberships. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. Then Kamala and gonna make it if she win. Thank you for the giraffe. That's so cute. That's not an English sentence. Okay. Hold on. There is one more. Citrine said that guy when he said Trump derangement, my face went to such disappointment. I wanted to laugh. I knew he was no longer credible. I'm happy you knew too. Yeah, so that's exactly it. Like when you say TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, and you obviously more than likely said it with a straight face.
You're awesome.
It's not you've lost credibility, and especially when at the time I wasn't saying anything. I was on silent. I was muted. Like now you can hear me. Right? There you go. Thank you again for another gifted membership. Oh gosh, I think you sent 4. I appreciate that so much. So I don't know about anybody else, but I always find this very interesting for people to put on the screen. Okay? Or even to type. If I'm going to the bathroom, I am literally going to the stall so I can do my business. I'm not paying attention to who else is in there. And I don't know about anybody else, but I've literally have used the men's restroom before. Do you notice how in this comment you didn't say anything about women going into men's restrooms? You should actually be concerned about women that go into men's restrooms. Because you're acknowledging in your comment saying that men in women's restrooms. Who are you saying the problem is in your statement? Who is the problem in this statement? Who are you saying the problem is? And I got news for you guys. Like, if anybody happens to go to the bathroom, especially when my stepdaughter is going number 2, right? The more kosher way to say it now. Number 2, I feel sorry for anybody that goes into that bathroom. I feel so bad for anybody that goes into that bathroom after her, with her at the same time. Guys, they have these things called potpourri. Or, sorry, I think it's poopery. You spray it into the toilet before you use it. And I highly encourage getting some that you can carry with you. Because, I don't know if you knew this, but shit stinks.
You're awesome.
Thank you, Devin, for the 2 in Canadian. This is your first time? Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm just going to put this on the screen for a second. You are definitely not old enough to call me if that's your insult. If that is your insult, you're not old enough to call me. That, or it just shows your maturity level. Are you in 4th grade? The 14-year-old has better insults than you. Welcome in if this is your first time, by the way, Arton. Sorry, I just had to thank all of the chats. Now call lines are back open for the crybabies. It's just the point. You guys, if you give me a reason to laugh, I'm going to laugh.
You're awesome.
All right, so this person says, you haven't found your match that have more knowledge. You out here picking and choosing what's considered as content for you. Be fair, Karen. Your first sentence structure is incorrect. I'm not sure what you're trying to state there. And I don't pick and choose my callers. I literally just answer them in the order that they come in. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hi, yes.
Hi, how old are you?
26.
Okay, did you vote for Trump?
I sure did.
All right, and do you still support him?
I do.
All right.
I do.
What is your main reason for still supporting Trump?
So I would say that if I am looking for the longevity of the Republican Party, he has done an excellent job in bringing in new voters.
Okay, so you just voted for him because you are politically affiliated with the Republican Party?
For the most part. I mean, yeah, I'd say so. I mean, just in terms of practical politics, it seems like he is doing a very good job of expanding the brand and bringing in, I guess, low information Democrats, I guess you'd say.
Okay, I mean, if that's your whole reason for supporting Trump, have at it, man. Good for you. Then I guess he's doing exactly what you want. Sounds good.
What
You're
about
getting
tariffs?
everything you want.
How do you feel about tariffs?
Tariffs, they're detrimental to the country. I just had this
agree, by the way.
conversation. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I know. I heard the other conversation. By the way, not super cool to be demeaning people with your degrees and such.
Oh, I
Not a
don't
good
use
look.
them. So this is actually the first time I've been on, sorry, really quickly, TikTok, muting you for a second. I've only been on YouTube and actually gaining a following on YouTube since June. This is the first time
Okay.
in 2 months that I've ever answered a question about what I do, what background do I have. So this is when I'm saying what it was, and which was just a genuine answer to his question, is not meant to demean anyone. You citing
I
Charlie
agree.
Kirk as a source just is a laughing. I'm sorry, it's a laughing matter.
I agree. Charlie Cook's kind of a goober, we'll say.
Yeah, so
still, though,
that's the
it's
only time because he
flexing a-
specifically asked. I don't use it to hold it over anyone. I don't think that you need to go to college to get educated. I don't think that college is required for everyone. I believe that vocational schools specifically should be free for every single person in the United States because we need trade workers. I think trade work is important, in fact, but we still need
You're not
educated
going to win over
ones.
voters. You're not going to win over voters if you do the kind of elitist gobbledygook.
I'm not trying
Not how
to.
you-
That's if that's how you
Wow.
took it, then that's how you were offended. I didn't
Not-
try to say that in
not
any
cool
way.
stuff.
It's Charlie Kirk. Like the guy lost credibility on several different factors. Charlie Kirk was one of them. TDS was the other one when I wasn't even trying to insult him.
Okay, all right. You can have your opinions on that. How do you feel about raising corporate taxes?
It should be raised.
Who pays for the raise in corporate taxes?
I don't know. You tell me. It would technically be the corporations.
Well, why do you support the policy? I'm trying to get to the bottom of why you support.
Why?
raising
Because
corporate
there are
taxes.
already too many loopholes where many corporations, especially like SpaceX, for example, pays fewer in corporate taxes percentage-wise than somebody that makes $30,000 in the United States of America.
Well, proportionally true, but not by growth.
Percentage-wise.
Correct.
I said percentage-wise. So I don't think that a corporation that is a multi-billion-dollar corporation should be paying 1% in taxes, 2% in taxes, 3% in taxes.
What if I say the same thing about tariffs? What would you say to that?
What about them specifically? And hey, Brett,
Who pays for tariffs?
the importer pays the upfront cost of the tariffs, and typically
Who
it
does
gets
it
passed
trickle
down.
to?
It gets passed down to the consumer. So here's
Who pays for corporate taxes?
so it's going to be the corporation, but those don't always
Who
get
does that
passed down
trickle down to?
They don't. So here's
Why do you
here's
say
how I
that?
know. Yeah, cool. So if you're going to say that corporate taxes trickles down to the consumer, then you must also
Correct.
posit that the inverse must be true, when in fact we don't see that occurring. Anytime that the corporate tax has been lowered consistently since it reached its peak at 80%, right? We have never seen the cost of goods sold also go down when we've lowered the corporate tax rate. Similarly enough, that we actually haven't seen that the median household income goes up, or that the the median wage goes up as a reflection of the corporate tax rate being lowered. So because we don't see the inverse to be true, or the fact of the trickle-down economics ideology to be true, therefore that also cannot be true. Since we have not seen an increase in corporate taxes in our lifetime, we have no way of knowing what would actually happen. But again, I would posit to claim that because the inverse is not true, we don't see a decrease in the cost of goods sold when we lower taxes. Therefore, we can't positively say that the opposite would be true.
Can you make that same claim with tariffs?
We actually do see the cost of goods sold increase.
That's not the question. It's consumers' prices or wages.
Yeah, the
or
CPI
however
goes
that-
up. We haven't
that
seen
again?
an increase of, we haven't seen wages go up. in the United States of America to match the tariffs so far. We've seen a loss of jobs in America with the threat of tariffs, right? We saw a very small amount of jobs being created. And yeah, jobs were still created. I fully acknowledge that fact. But we're seeing a stall out in the job market, which is why the Fed is being pressed so hard to lower the interest rate, and I think that they should.
So I'm saying corporate taxes increasing gives more of a burden on the consumer. That's my first claim. My second claim is the same thing is true with tariffs. And you're saying the first one's not true because using historical data, we can see that, I guess, wages, but I'm not even talking about wages. I'm talking about consumer pricing here.
Okay, so let's try this really quickly because I understand what you're trying to say. So when it comes to corporate taxes, what are corporations paying their taxes on? Profits. How do they get to their profit margin? How do they figure out their profit?
You don't follow me through it. What are you getting to?
So your profit is your cost of doing business, right? So your operating expenses.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Coming out of
some revenue.
Coming out of your revenue. Yeah. So it's your revenue minus expenses, right?
Okay.
So because they don't know how much they're going to pay because these taxes are paid once a year, right? They can do an estimation, right, with their tax consultants and their accountants can estimate how much they might owe in taxes. They have no way of knowing if they have to increase their cost of goods as a result of taxes going up at an annual scale because they're not paying it monthly. They're paying it annually at the end of the year. Some of them may be on a payment plan where they pay their taxes quarterly to the IRS throughout the year, but they actually don't pay it except for traditionally once a year, whereas tariffs are a one-to-one direct scale based upon the upfront cost of the product being immediately higher before they can even make a profit off the product. And if we raise the corporate tax, since we know that all cost of the cost of goods, right? The CPI, Consumer Price Index, increases every year, year over year. That's how it works, right? We already know, and they could corporations could pass it off with their traditional cost of their increase of selling, right? They can pass off their corporate tax as their normal increase that they would occur every single year based upon the market. They can't do that with the tariffs. That's why Procter & Gamble, the one that makes your Tide Pods and stuff like that, has already announced that they're increasing their costs, the price that the consumer has to pay up front because it is a one-to-one scale tariffs because it is something that they have to pay before they can even put the goods on the shelf.
So if
the taxes are on the back end.
Okay. If the corporation is a greedy, profit-seeking entity, we'll say, I'll frame it like that, why do you think that they won't just keep all the profits for the CEOs and pass all of the corporate tax issues off to their prices or reduce wages?
They're not going to reduce wages because guess what's going to happen? People are going to find other jobs. And there still are jobs in this economy. Last time I looked, which admittedly has not been since June, there were 7.7 million jobs available. We have jobs available in this country. They'll just switch if people lower their wages. There's other things that we can do to combat that too. So this threat of corporations are going to come back at us really hard if we increase their corporate tax, we have no evidence of this.
But they have the right to, correct?
They could.
Okay, cool.
Here's how you want to know how I know they actually won't decrease their wages is because your wage at whatever job you work for is a deductible expense. So if they want to reduce their tax burden at the end of the year, what they should do is actually raise their wages because that's going to be a deductible expense and lower their adjusted gross income for what they would actually pay at the end of the year.
Okay, what is
increasing
you know,
the
taking a
cost,
deduction still
increasing the
means you
price
lose
of
that
their
much.
goods when they goes to the market would
net
actually just
take.
increase their profit, and so therefore
No,
again that's
wouldn't.
not a deduction for them. It wouldn't work well.
Okay. Okay, so here's my next kind of little issue with it is you would agree that profits are used to pay people, right? Well, let me rephrase. Profits are used as, we'll say, bonuses, but mostly they're used for reinvestment in the company, right?
Oh, no, they're used to buy their own stocks. I wouldn't even say it's reinvestment in the company. Also, sorry, really quickly, TikTok, we
Okay.
should already be at 100,000 likes. Let's get to tapping that screen and get to 100,000 likes.
So you don't think that companies primarily use their money that they make to reduce their prices and expand their business?
No, we don't see any evidence of that. There
Well,
is
how
no
did Amazon
statistical
get to be
data
so big
that
then?
shows that they reduce their costs, that they reduce their prices in order to get more people to like buy more.
You said
When
reduce their cost.
you said reduce costs, you said reduce
What do you
costs.
think
No,
what does Amazon
they don't
warehouse
reduce
do?
their price points for the consumer. They look for ways to reduce their expenses, their cost expenses. When it comes to Amazon, Amazon is just literally stealing the fruits of other people's labors. They
Here,
don't
I can prove
directly
it to you
sell
really
things.
easily.
Oh
I
yeah,
can prove
you
it to you
can.
really easily.
Yeah, he
So,
did, Galactic.
Why have we not seen an immediate increase in prices once tariffs were set in place?
Because
Why
the
is that not
tariffs haven't
one-to-one
been
like
set
you
in
said?
place. The
Who's
tariffs.
eating that cost?
Hi, I'm trying to answer your question. Great, thank you. The tariffs have been threatened. The majority of them haven't actually gone into effect. That's why Donald Trump has delayed it, and delayed it again. And that's why August 1st was actually supposed to be his one set date to put them all out there. But again, he delayed the tariffs once more over China, the blanket tariffs over China. And in fact, guess what? I don't know if people realize this, and maybe you don't either, but companies like Procter and Gamble admitted that when they put out their news blurb beginning of July saying that their price point was going to go up for their consumer goods, is that they, before the tariffs went into effect, okay, they already had a surplus of supplies that they keep, because most companies buy in bulk. They buy enough for 6 months to a year typically, but their warehouses have run out and now they have to buy it. And we also saw a lot of companies pre-raise their price point, right? Their consumer price. Before the tariffs ever went into effect or before the tariffs were talked about, we saw companies increasing their prices in November, in December, and in January before Donald Trump even came into office because of what he did his first term. And they still have a memory of what happened his first term. They pre-raised their prices, knowing what Donald Trump was going to do because he spoke very loudly about it.
Okay, so you would agree that companies are able to eat the increase in price, or eat the increase in expense from tariffs if they so choose. They could do that.
They could, but you've already admitted yourself
Okay.
that they're not going to eat into their profit margin.
But they could. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Depends on the company.
Yeah, but again, I
Some
just want to
companies
point
do,
out your
some
own
companies don't.
logic in saying that you admitted that they're not going to intentionally eat into their profit margin, because unfortunately,
No, I didn't say
business
that.
you did.
I said they could or they could not. It depends on the current CEO and the current business strategy.
Do you know what I actually appreciate? So we'll never see this happen in the United States of America, but but in Japan, when there came a point where their sales were decreasing, the CEO of Honda, or maybe it was Toyota. We'll just say it's Toyota. I think it was Toyota. The CEO of Toyota cut his salary in half so that he didn't have to lay off any employees. We will never see that in America.
Well,
Oh no, this is specific to a CEO in Japan that we will
I'm glad
never
you're proving
see in
my point.
America. No,
Okay,
I'm
look, if
pointing
you
out
wanna
to
be
you the
racist against
American
Americans,
greed.
That's all you. If you want to be prejudiced
Sure.
like that and say only the Japanese can do it, that's on you. Hey,
No, it's because of the capitalistic market that
uh-huh.
we've created here in the United
Does
States of
Japan have a
America
capitalistic
that the
market?
president still fully endorses and tries to push. Not in the same way that we do,
Okay.
sir.
Look, your prejudice is showing.
Oh,
No
my
offense.
prejudice of what? What am I prejudiced against?
American capitalism. Are you gonna sit here and say you don't have a prejudice?
No, that's
against American
that's a
capitalism?
disagreement with the capitalist socioeconomic ideology.
Okay. Is Japan a capitalistic state?
To a degree, not in the same way that we are.
Okay.
Not on the same level.
That's okay. That's totally cool.
They have
So,
socialist capitalism.
I have another really kind of broad question. How do you feel about EV or like electric vehicle mandates or rebates from the government? How do you feel about those?
We need to do better for our. Isn't that? Yeah, that's true, Hasey. We need to do better for our environment. So if those were actually going to go in effect, sure. But Donald Trump did away with those. Those weren't included.
Fair enough. So in general, would you say you are a free market, laissez-faire?
In general, I am bored with you. I have a bunch of chats to go through. I'm sorry. He bored me when he couldn't stick with his own point. When you try to pivot again, you're going to bore me. You didn't address anything that I said. And yes, RJ, that dude absolutely sucked. Absolutely sucked. I agree. All right. And James, thank you so much for the 5. I appreciate that. Talman says, I learned so much from you. I used to coach speech and debate. I would have loved to have you on my team. So I don't know if people remember this, but I've said this before, and thank you for the 12. I used to do speech and debate, which is why I say, and I'm very clear on this, these are conversations. These are not debates, because debates are moderated. They have moderators, they have judges, and they have times that you're allowed to speak. We don't have any of that here on this setup. I don't know why, Chuck, but they always do. Yes, Bobby. So when I'm on an active call, I turn it on. But thank you, Tao, again for the 12. I turn it on do not disturb so that people aren't constantly hearing the beeping. Because I have over 6,000 missed phone calls. So do you want to hear over 6,000 beeps? I don't. That would drive me bonkers. But we can see that you are still hurt that Trump is still winning. So we have 3 years. So deal with it. You can't change anything. Keep rambling word. I encourage you, hard style, to take a free class at your community college on English sentences and structures. Because not a single one of those sentences were proper English. Oh, so you guys don't realize this. Okay, so this is funny that Durst said that, okay? Hilarious that he paid $5 a hate. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The majority of people that send me chats with a dollar amount assigned are Trump voters. The majority of them are Trump supporters. I don't get that kind of, like, I don't get those from those that don't support Trump. I get most of the comments sent to me from Trump supporters. It's fantastic. I love it. Thank you. It is what happens. And I'm okay with it. It is funny, Mike. I agree. And yes. And he's already paid me 5. Let's see, where else did he pay me? Let me look for his name. Two. Dude's already paid me over $10 just to yell at me. I don't know exactly how much, but he's already paid me over $10 just to yell at me. It's okay. We have time for one more caller. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Okay. Do you, how old are you?
22.
Can you speak into your phone?
I'm currently outside. Can you hear me?
No.
Hello?
I can hear you now.
Okay. You can hear me?
Yes. How old are you?
I am 20.
Okay. Did you vote for Trump?
I did, well, I didn't vote, but I did support, to some extent.
Okay, well, I do, right now I am just only talking to Trump voters who still support their vote. So I hope you have a good rest of your day, man. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yeah. Hi, Ari.
Hi, how old are you?
45.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Do you still support him?
Yeah, in some ways it's complicated, but yeah.
Okay. TikTok, let's get up to 100,000 likes in like the next minute because we should have already been there. And let's clear off this live goal. It's a small one. And okay, so guess why is it that you still support Trump?
Well, sorry. We've had a couple of good calls in the past. I think the main reason that I support him is because I think that the pressure that he's he's testing the power of the executive branch, which I think that the country desperately overall that would be.
I would disagree that testing the powers or the reaches, hey Emmy, of the executive branch, which means testing the limits of the constitutionality of his duties, are a good thing.
You would say they weren't?
No, I would say that's not a good thing. Sorry, I thought I put that on Do Not Disturb.
No problem. Why would you say that?
Why? Because just the inherent statement of saying testing the limits of his power means that he's trying to see how much he can overreach before he's stopped, which is inherently not a good thing. That means that we're actively trying to violate the Constitution or ignoring the fact that we have 3 co-equal branches of government.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I would agree to disagree only because I think that it's important that we litigate exactly the limits in which the executive can go and then adjust based on if we think that the limitations exceed what we previously thought.
No, because the limits are clearly defined within Article 2 of the United States Constitution, what the presidential powers are. And then we have other laws and acts and articles that have been put into place that also clearly define what the limits of the president are, and these are very important to have, because again, we don't have kings in the country.
No, I understand. But let's take, for example, one of the previous callers talking about immigration, and you made a really good point that they're not criminals until they've had due process and have been convicted, which is 100% right. Mm-hmm. But for example, if I get arrested and they feel like I'm a flight risk for any reason, I can be denied bail, right? So in that case, I'm not convicted of a crime, but I also have to stay detained until I have my day in court, right? And as we know from a couple of the cases, immigration cases, Abrego Garcia being one of them, they forced him to send him. So I think that was an important test of exactly what is allowable under the Constitution and what.
Sorry, you're going in and out on your talking on like your volume, and it makes it a little bit hard to hear you. It sounds like you're mumbling.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it better?
Yes, that is significantly better. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Yeah, my wife. Yeah, I had to click. It's raining in Florida, so I had to click off my Wi-Fi. So again, I'll reiterate. So the fact that like Abrego Garcia, for example, Trump was he was forced to bring him back into the country, right?
No,
So
he
I think
wasn't
that
forced. They directly only did it because they decided to bring up charges in Tennessee. They unequivocally stated that they couldn't bring him back into the country. Bukele of El Salvador said that you can't smuggle him back into the country. Trump literally said, "I'm not bringing him back." Again, the Department of Justice also said, we're not bringing him back here, period." They were actually directly ignoring not only a district court order, but the Supreme Court of the United States on facilitating him coming back. They only did it because the DOJ said, all right, well, if that's the case, if we're going to be forced to bring him back, then we are going to press charges on him and make shit up. Potentially make shit up.
Even if that is the case, which is obviously malicious and evil, there are charges brought against people every day of the week that could be false or made up or whatever the case. But at least they didn't get away. They didn't get away with what their initial actions were.
Okay.
So you don't think that was good?
I don't even understand the point of your sentence. I didn't even understand your question, so that's why I just went, okay.
Okay.
Do you want to try rephrasing your question?
No, not necessarily. I don't. We went down a pretty long rabbit hole that we can.
Oh, apparently
agree to disagree,
the United States is now trying to deport Abrego Garcia to Uganda after he declined a plea deal in the charges that are being pressed against him.
You're
Okay.
awesome.
I mean, so you think they'll get away with that?
Don't know. They have to put him back into. They have to pick him back up because he was set free by the judges in Tennessee for him to go home to Maryland. And it's something that his attorneys worked for to make sure that he would be able to stay home with his family and see through the full extent of the charges. So it looks like they're trying to deport him. Before he gets to finish his time in court again?
I mean, they're clearly showing that they're trying to do it, but I don't know. I just I have belief in the justice system. And
later that day, the Department of Homeland Security notified his attorneys that he would be deported to Uganda and should report to immigration authorities on Monday.
Okay.
They want him to go turn himself in to ICE in Maryland, where he just was allowed to go back to yesterday. So only gets 2 days with his family that he hasn't seen, hasn't spent free time with, not in handcuffs, since he was taken away on March 15th. So they can deport him before he can face trial?
I don't think you're understanding my angle on this. I don't agree with it at all. I'm not agreeing with the actions. I'm agreeing with the exact clarification, because if we're going to be honest, right, the pressure test that's going on right now, if it doesn't happen, at some point there will be someone that will get away. For example, um, depending on for let's say if a guy like Clarence Thomas retires or someone else, even worse, right? Like a progressive member of the Supreme Court, much like we saw in Trump's first term. So, it, aside from expanding the Supreme Court, depending on the balance of it could be much worse. It could be much worse, especially when we're talking about air quotes constitutionalists and their interpretation of the Constitution. And I disagree with the whole premise that the powers of the executive are clearly stated in the 14th. I think that there's some ambiguity to it, and I think that we should really drill down on especially immigration, especially because birthright citizenship is under attack, because
You're awesome.
and because basically, honestly, mass deportation has been a failure up to this point. And I think that's the main reason why they're not releasing the numbers. And I think they're doing these things as a spectacle. And I don't think it's going to work out the way they believe it's going to work out.
Okay. I guess I don't understand the point you were trying to make then.
The point that I'm trying to make is I think that it's good to shine a spotlight on certain things, and it's good to put a magnifying glass on them. And it's good to get clear and decisive decisions on all of these cases so that it can't happen again. Because clearly, whether you like it or not, clearly he's pushing the limits of the executive branch. And even if you say that it's clear that in the 14th it's outlined exactly what the powers of the executive are, he's already gotten away with things that we would say are clearly stated in the 14th. So it definitely needs to be pressure tested for sure.
No, I don't think it does. I don't think that there is any reason or an excuse for the executive branch of government to try to exceed the limits of what is constitutional. That's not effective. That's not an effective way to determine the bounds of which we're held to of the United States government. Because I'm gonna be honest, and we're gonna quote Obama here in saying that if I had done any of this, I would have been impeached. Right? If he had done one single thing that Trump was doing, to the extent that Trump is doing it with pressing the limits of his executive powers, he would have been impeached. No question. Right? But here we are excusing it, saying that it's a good thing, right? Or even if we go back to Biden, where everyone was complaining about how many executive orders Joe Biden had written when he was president of the United States, saying that that was an overreach of the executive powers. But now individuals such as yourself are celebrating the fact. Oh my God. One second.
Are you okay?
I've never gotten that gift before. Thank you, Dawn. Oh, I love that one so much. I'm sorry. That was a TikTok gift. Oh, that was
That's
so
okay.
cute. I've never gotten that one before. I can officially say I've gotten Leo. Lily the leopard. Oh my God, that was so cute, guys. I'll try to clip it in. I have a montage of gifts to put up. This is so cute. People complained about the number of executive orders that Biden wrote during his time, but we see that Donald Trump's actually already had the most executive orders in the entire history of the office of president in just his first 7 months of his second term.
No argument there. No argument.
I find it extremely hypocritical of a statement.
He'll also exceed the pardons that Biden had, because in his first term, Trump's pardons were a lot less than Biden's were, and I think that you'll see him pivot on that as well. I think he's gonna pardon everyone he possibly can.
Yeah.
Yep. He's vindictive. I mean, there's no doubt about that. No one's even questioning that. And I think, I mean, you say that Obama said that he would have got impeached if he had done some of these things, and you know what? It didn't get he didn't get fully impeached, but they attempted to impeach him in the first term. And when he loses, if he does in fact lose the Senate in the second term or the House, they're going to do it again.
Okay.
They're definitely going to do it again.
Yeah, potentially.
His entire legacy is on the line in these midterms. And that's why he strategically put those Medicare and Medicaid cuts after the midterm election. Because that would definitely have something, for sure.
Oh, yeah, that was all on purpose. I'm glad
Yeah.
you acknowledged that fact. That is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, again, I'm just going to reiterate that I don't think it's good for any branch of the government to test the limits of their power, because that goes against the idea of it. That's when we're starting to border on the idea of it being a tyrannical government. And that's why I inherently just don't agree with it in any way, shape, or form. You know.
I mean, executive orders, I mean, yeah, we know that he exceeded Biden, but even Biden's were egregious. And that's testing the powers of the executive.
Oh, no, we shouldn't be ruling through executive orders. I disagree with them 100%. Inherently.
100%.
Yeah, I don't like executive orders. I think that they should be used only to tell the actual agencies within our government what to do and what laws they should be following, or what what rules and regulations they need to follow. That's what I believe the executive order should be used for, not for trying to make sweeping changes and regulations across the entire country. That I disagree with. Yeah, paper straws is a weird one. Water pressure was a weird one. Like,
I'm paper straws.
The paper. There's just been a lot of them, a lot of weird ones.
But yeah, I think his obsession with some of those things is pretty nuts. Like the obsession with windmills or wind turbines is pretty funny to me.
It's so sad that people are going to lose their jobs as a result of him just not liking windmills, or acknowledging that they have a purpose, and people are going to lose their job in solar because, again, they have a purpose. So, like, they do. But is this Danny?
Yes.
Okay, I thought I recognized the voice when I could finally hear you again. Well, Danny, I appreciate you calling in. I'm 11 minutes over my normal time, so I'm trying to make sure I don't get further than like 20 minutes over my time, because otherwise then my time just becomes 2
no problem.
hours.
I'll let you go. But one quick statement.
What's that?
Charlie Kirk he has more donors. The operating cost of Turning Point USA is so enormous to visit these colleges that anyone that could say that organization is not captured by the Capitol is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
See, guys,
he has more bosses than anyone on earth.
That's what I'm saying. Like hey, Dolphin, that guy had no credibility once he said, "I got this from Charlie Kirk." Like, I'm done. I can't. Charlie Kirk is the biggest definition of a hypocrite in so many ways. Guys, just so you know, women should only go to college so that they can meet their husbands. Said by a man that didn't go to college or didn't graduate from college, but his wife works in the medical field and makes bank and has a college degree, but doesn't stay home with kids.
Voting too, you know. Maybe they should only have one vote per household, right? Because that would change everything.
There's just so many things. Like, Charlie Kirk is the walking definition, epitome of a hypocrite in our country, and people that don't see that drive me bonkers. But okay. Yeah. I just want to point that out one. So I do appreciate that somebody else understands that Kirk is just a joke.
Yep. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks. All right. Thanks. All right. Danny's decent. He comes up and he asks me odd questions. So I appreciate that. All right. A couple of chats to get through really quickly. Pedro, I can't keep this one up for long. Once it pops up, there it is. Listen, they unfortunately serve their purpose, but I don't wish violence upon anybody, guys. I really don't. Thank you, Carrie, for the 2. Thank you for being here. We need people like you. I am here to try to help and educate as many people as possible. I go out of my way to educate myself on these issues, and I believe in sharing things that I learn in order to get there. Yeah, so Hash, while I was talking with Danny, I looked this up. You are correct. Indeed. Dan Price of Gravity Payments cut his salary in order to make it so that the minimum wage, the starting wage of his company, Gravity Payments, in 2015 would be $70,000. He is no longer a CEO of that company because he was convicted of sexual assault. So while I agree that that was a, he stepped down as CEO because he was facing trial of sexual assault. Trial. He wasn't convicted. My bad. Against people at his company. It's not. Yeah. So he did. Correct. But that's one instance. I would encourage you, and thank you for the 10, to find additional ones. I would encourage you to find additional ones. But he no longer works or operates as a CEO of Gravity Payments.
Awesome.
And I would love to know what the CEO actually makes now, the new CEO. Thank you, Chrissy, for the floating hearts. A couple of floating hearts. I appreciate that. Sajin said, there is a reason why indoctrination is a loved concept among far-right MAGA and those who conflate their politics with religion, acting like they're different from religious fundamentalists. They don't want to think for themselves. Absolutely agree with you. You will find no arguments from me there. Oh, really quickly before I continue on this one. That's a good point, Greekies. Greeky said a salary cut does not count if they also get stock ownership bump and bonuses. And they did. They saw that it soared. Their profit margin soared. Hello? Why is this not catching up with me? Click. Go back on the screen. I wasn't done. There we go. They don't. And so, and here's what I have. And this is not just in TikTok. Let's just finish this off at 125,000 likes real quick. Hey, Natty. Welcome in. I want to be clear, guys. This is not just what we see in the far right party. It's also what we see within the Democratic Party as well, right? People want to be led. There are a significant portion of people within the population, people within the United States of America, that just want to be led and told what to do. Awesome. Hash found some more. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, Hash. I'll put that up in a moment. There are too many people in the United States, too many people in the world that want to be told what their purpose is. And so they go on to these things that would, in fact, indoctrinate them. They go to the purpose of trying to find something that would, in fact, give them an indoctrination. And you know, that's fine. Some people need that. Some people need that guidance, and I don't hate on anybody. We do find that there would be considered cultist movements on both sides. All right? This is not just a single party issue. I think Turning Point USA, specifically Charlie Kirk, the Ben Shapiro's of the world, the fucking Nick Fuentes of the world, are not helping anybody in any way, shape, or form. And no, guys, I can't immediately think of a leftist person. Well, I guess I can. Destiny isn't helping anybody. We'll just put that out there. Destiny, I don't think he's helping anybody with some of the stuff he says. He's a great talker. He's a great talker, but I don't think he's helping anybody. Especially not with him acknowledging the shit that he does. Right? But again, there are issues in both parties. But we do primarily currently see a huge issue on the right now. Currently. I'm going to say this again, guys. I honestly don't want Newsom to run for president. I think he should run for Congress when his term is up. I think he would do good in Congress. I don't think I want him to run for president right now. I really don't. I wish I could explain more. It's just a personal opinion.
You're awesome.
Okay. So Carlos Albertini. So let's look him up. Carlos.
You're awesome.
Cut salary. Let's see. All right. Hey, I did you one better, Hash, so I'm going to help you out. I found an article that shows more, okay? I did find, yeah. No, guys, yeah, no, I have no problem admitting if I'm wrong. No problem at all. So I found from Yahoo Finance, and this was in 2020, and it was reported through Go Banking Rates. Can't speak. And there is a cat fur hanging out on my glasses. 48 CEOs taking pay cuts to help their company survive through C19. And I think that's awesome. I think that they need to. But you know what? I'm not even going to question it. Okay, we'll just go there. To add, so Sajin said, to add to that, it is also partly why parts of the left and far right act the same way. Yes. Far left. Sorry, I read that wrong. It is just the far right has more vitriol. I agree. There is also an effect of why they look to cut back progressivism. Yes, I agree. So the right is so good at propaganda. They are so good at propaganda. It is not great. They are way too good at being out on media, being out in the public eye. They are so good at selling their points. They are so good at fear mongering. It's insane to me. So yeah, and that's why they fearmonger to the point that we have it so conflated. And this isn't, again, this part that I'm going to talk about right now is not just an issue with the left or the right. This is both of them, right? Is we have gotten to the point where we have to explain at a elementary level of the differences between communism as what we know it in today's society and what the actual study of communists is, and along with socialism. We don't know what the values of them actually are. We have to go back to the elementary teaching of these socioeconomic constructs, and we have to re-explain it, because we have fear-mongered on both sides that communism is this huge, horrible thing that leads to a dictatorship, right? And we know it's not true. Same thing with socialism. It's been made out to be this huge boogeyman that leads into a dictatorship and authoritarianism, when it's not. So that's not the base idea of it. Doesn't go there, right? Doesn't go there at all. And that's the problem. I know HV, I'm getting there. He's on right now anyway, so it's okay. And Hash, thank you for the 50. Oh, I didn't even see that. Thank you so much. This is just because you indeed can admit when you're wrong. I do not agree with all your points, but I will absolutely support your right to say it. Keep up, and I will maintain myself. Listen, I appreciate that. So, and again, the 50, it means so much to me, guys. I do this to try to get knowledge out there on both sides, right? I don't want to argue with people. I am happy to have reasonable conversations with other people. I want to have reasonable conversations with people. I don't want to be screaming. I don't want to, hi, George. I don't want to yell at somebody. I don't want to have to be talking over somebody the entire time. I want a conducive relationship. Or it's not a relationship, sorry, conducive conversation to get knowledge out there, to help people see past their own perspective, right? Like, I want to open somebody's mind. And eventually, like I said, guys, I'm going to start taking additional callers, additional perspectives, just not right in this moment when everything is just so up there on what's happening. So, like, I promise you guys, when it comes to next year, this is going to switch. I'm going to talk to people, and I want to look into the midterms and who is voting for who is voting for what platforms people are running on. I want to look into all of that. Okay? So that's something I'm going to look into come the midterms when we actually have official candidates in all of the states. You know, 435 people are up for re-election in the House of Representatives. It is really important to vote in your midterms, guys. Really important to vote in your midterms. Yeah, Ghost. I will say that to hell and back. Both parties suck, and they are corrupt. They do. Both parties suck, and they are 100% corrupt. From a right side guide. Yeah, man. Agreed. I agree with you. Oh, it's going to take a lot of work to go through 435 plus the opposite campaigns.
You're awesome.
Last one, and then I am definitely ending, guys. So if you send a super chat and I don't send it, send tomorrow. I'll be out at some point tomorrow. Lastly, it is also why AIPAC heavily restricts center left to far left Dems, keeping them from actually doing anything to match the far right's energy and getting their side. Yes. Yes, oh my god. AIPAC is the worst. Oh my god, guys. People don't even realize that the United States is funding the universal health care that Israel has. We are paying for Israel's healthcare system. The United States funds Israel so much. AIPAC is so bad. Yeah, AIPAC is a super donor. It tells people what to say. You want my money? Don't overstep. They did it to Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz had to shape up and change what he was talking about because he was losing his AIPAC donations. He was losing them. So to continue it, he changed everything. That's when he started endorsing Donald Trump after Donald Trump insulted his family. Like, oh my gosh. So right, Sajid. Okay, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end it for the night. TikTok, I'm going to mute you guys real quick. So, be right back. TikTok, get up to 125,000 likes. You're almost there. Okay. YouTube, Twitch, thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate all of the super chats. I appreciate all of the comments. Thank you, Aslan. I know you're going through a lot right now. I appreciate you being here. Guys, don't forget to join the Discord server. It is in the link tree in my bio. If you're in the Twitch chat, you can just do exclamation Discord and it'll give you a link. You have to get verified or you're not going to come in. So I hope the rest of everybody has a good rest of their Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. I will see you guys at some point tomorrow. I just don't know what time. Probably when my significant other is doing their other fantasy football draft, okay? All right, y'all have a good night.